of the objects under the influence of Maya.
Suraj, it is your turn to present.
No, actually it was my turn since I didn't get to finish presenting yesterday. I mean, the day before.
Okay. Continue.
So my topic is Satchitanand. And Satchitanand is the three attributes of Brahma called Sat, Chit, and Anand, and how they're used in the universe that Brahma has made. When he wishes to enjoy his Leela, he will make through his attributes of Sat and Chit. And that is called Avirbhav, which is when the universe is revealed from Brahma. And when Brahma wants to take everything back, he will merge his whole creation inside himself. That is called Tirobhav, which is the concealment of the creation made by Brahma. The process of revealment and concealment goes on consistently like day. Before Avirbhav, the universe exists in a state of its karan or cause as such characteristics of Brahma. That means that there is no such thing as the destruction of the universe, but only Tirobhav or the concealment. The universe is Karya or the effect caused out of Brahma and its form of Brahma. An example of Tirobhav and Avirbhav is that the sport that's being played by Brahma is like a spider spinning its web out of its own saliva. It is creating a web and enjoying it as it lives on the web it creates, like how Brahma creates the universe out of himself to enjoy his own Leela, which is called Avirbhav. And when the spider wants to withdraw his saliva back into himself, it winds up the web and it goes away like how Brahma can take back the creation back into himself, which is called Tirobhav. Another example is when a tortoise withdraws its limbs, hinds, legs, and head into his body or shell. This happens in the spider's and tortoise's life as he moves to find the perfect place to live as it travels. And then another topic is the Mohika Maya, which is the game of Maya. The children play a game called the blind strip, which is where you put a strip of cloth around your eyes, and the child that has their eyes covered has to try to catch other children playing the game. In a similar way, Bhagwan plays the blind strip. But the only difference is that in the worldly sense, one person gets a turn to find many others. But in Bhagwan's play, it is the opposite, because Brahma is in everything, and there can't be a place where Brahma is not there. So instead of hiding, Bhagwan misleads the souls through the power of infutating Maya by having false knowledge given to the understanding of his creation. This causes the individual souls to be blinded by the form of Brahma as the creator of the entire universe, of the relationship between Bhagwan and Bhagwan's creations in the universe, and the duties that we are made to perform. We understand things differently than in the original form that is caused by Maya, which is the reason that we cannot experience the divine Brahma and his Leela in his original or real form.
Fine. Next.
Anvat Pranam Raja and Jai Shri Krishna.
Yes.
Hello? Sorry, did someone have a question? Would you like me to present, or did somebody have a question?
No,
Yansha, it was, you go ahead. It was Sanji. So go ahead.
Okay, Dhanvat Pranam Raja and Jai Shri Krishna, everybody else. My two topics were the functions of Maya and the process of infatuation. So Maya is the idea of illusion, and Maya has two functions. The first function is Ajadika Shakti. So this function basically conceals Bhagwan from everything in the universe. So as we know, Bhagwan created this universe as himself, and everything in this universe is made from him. But this first function of Maya conceals everything. So to us, a chair has the form of a chair and is not just a particle of Bhagwan. Ajadika Shakti is controlled by Bhagwan as he is the creator of everything, including Maya, as previously the idea of Sri Shankaracharya was refuted by Sri Mahaprabhuji because Bhagwan controls Maya and not vice versa. Brahma purposefully hides everything from us and conceals these true forms because this universe is his Leela, and if we understand that we are all a part of Bhagwan and that everything in this universe is a part of him, then it won't be as enjoyable for him. So, like I said before, the first function of Maya is to conceal the true forms of every object. Now the second function of Maya, Antata Pratibud, gives us the false reality of I-ness and my-ness. So now we're not only seeing this chair in the form of a chair and not Bhagwan, we see this chair as my chair. This gives us worldly attachment to like objects that are in this world instead of Bhagwan and separates us from our devotion to Bhagwan. This idea of I-ness and my-ness, that this chair is my chair or that this home is my home, drives us away from Bhagwan and bounds us to these worldly materials and ways. Because we've found attachments to this world, we're farther away from Bhagwan and are stopped from reaching him. This leads us to the process of infatuation. Maya is the power of Bhagwan that is used to influence all jivatmas. This power causes us to be infatuated with an elusive world known as samsara, which is created by the Maya in our minds. The two functions of Maya, Ajadika Shakti and Antata Pratibud, is in this world of samsara. This is an elusive world, a dream world in a sense, where everything belongs to us and is ours, and we can't see any of the real Bhagwan, real forms of Bhagwan. Because in the real form, there is no good, there is no bad, there is no mine, there is no yours, there is no ours. In the real form, everything is simply Bhagwan's, everything is simply Brahma, and there is no separate I-ness and my-ness, and there is no forms other than Bhagwan.
Fine. Just to correct that we cannot see the real form of Bhagavan. Instead of this statement, it is better to say that the objects which Bhagavan has created out of his own attributes, we are not able to identify those objects as the form of Brahma, but we are relating those objects with our ahanta and mamta. This would be better usage.
Ji Raja.
Because when Bhagavan creates the worldly objects out of his Sat attribute, he hides his Anand and Chit attribute from those objects, and therefore the object doesn't remain as equal as Bhagavan, but the object is manifested as the Sat attribute of Brahma. So the real identity of the object is to be created out of Sat attribute of Brahma, and the original feeling or original thought of that object has to be that Bhagavan has created this object out of his Sat attribute, and therefore we are supposed to identify it as the form of Brahma, the Sat attribute, the object created out of Sat attribute of Brahma, and not supposed to be identified as a table and chair and etc. Fine. Next.
I am next. So, my topic is Vishayaka, the state of watching and understanding all the objects under the influence of Maya. Maya's topics which might be produced with inside the mind are stated to be Vishayaka. The gadgets of the universe whose understanding we've got through senses, and due to their being the topics of the understanding senses, are recognized to be Vishaya, the consumer. Because of Maya, Vishayaka is creating work inside the mind of being. These topics are meditated upon the topics of the universe. For this cause, will perceive the topics of the world as an alternative of getting the revel in a creative topic. He starts to have the revel in the topics which is my topic. In this count number, the revel of the concern is direction sensible. However, the revel in the topics which might be prompted with Maya is false. For example, an individual who movements in a circle will start to see all gadgets and in shifting circles. In this count number, his revel of the color, the form, and the gap of gadgets, just like the desk, the chair, and so forth, will continue to be as actual as mild, However, the sight of the gadget's shifting circles is now no longer sensible. Similarly, the relevance of anything, topics just like the chair, the desk, house, the own circle relatives, and so forth, that we attain within inside the universe is sensible. The collectivity with which revel in some other form of experience together with the desk is produced. The desk is destroyed, the desk is ideal or awful, and so forth, that we attain is resulting from Maya or due to the fact it is concerned to Maya gadgets, not unrealistic and false. Hence, the level of Visheta, the topics precipitated and meditated in Maya, is nothing, however, or illusion. We must deliver interest to one thing. Maya Kuni Visheta, the mind. Topics which inside the mind of a being. Maya does now no longer play any sort of mischief with the gadgets of the universe. The universe has been made through of from. Hence, most effectively, a level of the topics can be unrealistic. The attributes of Maya have an impact most effective upon the mind now no longer upon the gadgets. As the attributes of Maya, gadgets are created most effective in the Maya's mind. Consequently, they don't have any impact on the actual gadgets of the universe, nor their attributes modifications due to Maya. As those attributes of Maya gadgets are now no longer input into the actual gadgets of the universe created through Brahma, the universe does now no longer end up unreal due to Maya as proposed through Sri Shankaracharya. Hence, the factor of saying the universe as Maya and unreal is falsified in steps with Srimad Prabhuji.
Fine. Next.
Pathik, is it Asia's turn?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
My name is Asya and I have the topic, the difference between the universe created by Bhagwan and Mayic world. The Brahmatmak is the nature of Brahma and we believe that the universe is real. While in previous philosophies and scriptures, we have learned that this is false and untrue. So, how can this be solved? Well, if you look at it, there's no contradiction. We might think that the Mayic world and the universe are the same thing. But, in fact, the universe and the Mayic world are two different things. The universe is created by Brahma's attributes of Sat and Chit. So the universe of Brahma can't be untrue or false. The universe that goes under the influence of Maya and makes I-ness and minus is completely different from the Brahmatmak universe. This universe that Maya created with I-ness and minus is called Samsara, the Mayic world. The universe is real just like Brahma. So is I-ness and minus. But when I-ness and minus gets combined with the universe, it becomes false. Therefore, the Mayic world with I-ness and minus of samsara is far from reality. And we are so much into the net of I-ness and minus that we forget Bhagwan. Instead of understanding that the universe was created for Brahma's own sport, we can be selfish with I-ness and minus and can cause sadness to the being. So, the universe is a real playground for him, and everyone should know the divine form of Brahma and understand his duties towards the universe.
Fine. So, here we are done with the presentation of the first chapter. I am very glad that you people understood this topic. Seriously, this topic seems very boring to many of the people, and I have experienced that people don't take interest in this topic as this just goes on with all the technicalities we can ever have. But I am glad that you people understood it well and even presented the topic very well. From the upcoming week, we'll be going with the next chapter, the consideration of the individual being. That is the topic of Jivatma, how the individual beings are created, what is the process of the creation, and how they are bound by the avidya, and how to be free from the avidya, etc. So the whole chapter will be going on with the swarup of Jivatma, the form of Jivatma. So we'll be continuing with the next chapter from the upcoming week. Let us conclude here for today's session.
Raja, I have a question.
Yes, you may proceed.
We consider we insist that we do Tanuvitaja Seva, so Seva with our body and wealth, but those rely on the word my and me, and those are preconceptions given to us by Maya, which are illusions. So why do we insist so heavily on doing Tanuvitaja Seva if the me and my things are illusions given by Maya?
See, we can never be free from the illusions which are given by Maya to us till the date we don't attain salvation. But this is the way by which we can make good use of the assumptions which are provided to us by Maya. That's the only purpose. It means rather than using it for our benefits, if we start using the same assumptions, the same presumptions for using those materials in the seva of Shri Thakurji, it is a good use of the same minus and I-ness, and it will be molding our I-ness and minus towards Bhagavan. For example, now I am considering myself to be an individual person. I mean, I am Maitri, I am a Brahmin, etc. These are the modes of my identity. But the day when I will start performing Seva of Shri Thakurji, gradually I will be developing my I-ness as that I am the Sevak of Shri Thakurji. I am a servant of Shri Thakurji. This will be the format of my understanding, and the same will be the format of my I-ness. Same way, till the date I am considering that this is my house, this is my family, this is my money, these are objects of my possession, etc. The same minus will be converted into the feeling that all which belongs to me is for the seva of Shri Thakurji. So we are not supposed to leave I-ness and minus when we are following the devotional path, but we are supposed to mold that I-ness and minus towards Bhagavan, and in that way it will be the good use of I-ness and minus which can help us to reach near Shri Thakurji. Again, for us, Maya is not as bad as what Shankaracharya ji is teaching. For us, Maya is the power of Brahma which is provided to us. But the only problem is that when we are making a bad use of the same power, it is not considered good and helpful. But when we are using the same Maya and the same assumptions which are provided to us by Maya in the seva of Shri Thakurji, it helps us to reach near Bhagavan. For example, today if I start considering that I am soul and I am not Maitri, I am not a Brahmin, this body doesn't belong to me, how will I be able to perform seva? So actually, my body, my sensory organs are instruments which are provided to me for performing seva of Shri Thakurji. But if I am making bad use of it, I will be bound in the universe and the universal attachments. But if I start using the same ahanta and mamata in the seva of Shri Thakurji, it will help me to reach near Bhagavan.
Ji Raja, I understand.
Fine.
So is So is doing Dhanuvitya
Yes.
Seva basically turning our like I-ness and minus into divine I-ness and minus?
Yes, exactly. We are not supposed to leave I-ness and minus, because without those we won't be able to perform seva. We are just supposed to give a good shape to that I-ness and minus, which can help us relate to the Bhagavan. There is no need to be 100% free from I-ness and minus, but we are not supposed to relate I-ness and minus to the worldly objects, but use that I-ness and minus to relate each and every object we possess with Bhagavan. It will help us to reach near Bhagavan.
Okay, thank you, Raja.
Anything else? Fine. Let us conclude here. From the next week, we'll be going with the next chapter, the consideration of the individual being. By these 2 days, you people may go through the subject once, and then we'll start learning it.